Howdy folks, it's the Creepy Kentuckian here with you from DEADPIT.com. We got a really great one to look at today. I've been looking forward to doing this review for a little while. This is one of my all-time favorite zombie films, and this particular edition comes from one of my all-time favorite boutique labels, Synapse Films. It's a 4K remaster of Jorge Grau's classic Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, aka The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. This edition is the standard release. They did a steelbook slipcover Uber edition about a year ago or so. This one recently came out for the minimalists out there that just wants the standard edition. It's the same disc and everything. It's just in a standard Blu-ray package. I do have a little bit of a history with this movie. This was one of those movies that was kind of a blind buy back in the day. And this is why I'll always call this movie Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. The original Anchor Bay Entertainment release was one of my very early DVDs. And when I first saw this movie, I absolutely fell in love with it. I've got multiple editions of this. And this is a movie that if there's a 4K UHD edition of this coming out at any point in time, I will definitely pick it up as well. If you have not seen this and you're a fan of zombie films, this is definitely one you want to grab. This one's from 1974, just 6 years after Night of the Living Dead. It changes up enough in the plot to make it quite unique, in my opinion. Living Dead at Manchester Morgue follows Ray Lovelock and Christina Galbo. Their two characters, George and Edna, they meet by chance and are on a little bit of a road trip together to visit Edna's sick sister. They get lost. While George is out looking for directions, Edna's attacked by a creepy bearded dude who we don't realize at the time, but he's a zombie. Shortly after that, Edna's husband is attacked and murdered, and those two are stuck in this small town where the detective, played by Arthur Kennedy, forces them to stick around. You guys are suspects, don't leave, right? More crazy stuff happens. As it turns out, there's this experimental radioactive device which is used to kill off insects for miles and miles away, that is turning the recently deceased into zombies. And before they can figure out what's going on, could it possibly be too late? Who knows? Who's to say? This one here too, as far as cast goes, I think the cast, they do really well. Ray Lovelock's done a ton of stuff. Christine Galbo, I don't really recall her in too much else that I've seen at least. But the vibe in this one's really cool. It's all set in kind of like an English countryside setting. So it has a really cool country type vibe to it. British, gothic almost in some instances. And there's a really cool scene at a church, at the underground mausoleum there, that is very creepy and has a really cool atmosphere to it. Over the years, I think this movie has gotten quite the following. It seems like when this was initially released on DVD, this was something that nobody ever brought up. I'd never heard about it, but over the last few years, you know, the physical releases, I think Blue Underground released it as well. So it's developed quite the following over the last 15-20 years since that initial DVD release from Anchor Bay Entertainment. This particular edition here, remastered in 4K, loaded with special features including a documentary on the filmmaker. This is the ultimate edition as of today's date for The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. If you're a fan of this movie, or if you've never seen it, if you're a fan of zombie movies, this gets the highest recommendation from me. This is top 5 zombie films of all time, in my opinion. I think it's possibly the best European zombie movie. This one was Jorge Grau's a Spanish filmmaker, but the movie was shot over in the UK. This edition, man, it's loaded up with special features, 2 audio commentaries, The documentary is 89 minutes. It's Jorge Grau, Catalonia's cult film king. Extensive feature-length documentary explores the life and films of the director. Scene of the crime, Gianetto De Rossi in discussion from Manchester. Gianetto De Rossi Q&A. Theatrical trailer, TV spots, all that good stuff. I'm not sure if this is included on this edition, but they do go back to the filming locations. And oddly enough, most of them look exactly the same. So this film a lot of it was shot in the country. And of course, if you live in the country, you know that there's not a whole lot that changes over the years most of the time. And this case was one of those. Other real quick stuff though, I think this is the very first time in a zombie movie that they had used legit intestines for some of the gore sequences. There's a really cool scene with one of the nurses at the morgue getting completely obliterated by some zombies, yeah! So there's definitely some gore in this too. If you're a gore hound and you're into that sort of thing, you will want to check that out too. So yeah, if you have not seen this movie, guys, this is one for the record books here. You will be amazed. If you're a fan of zombie films, you're going to get a kick out of Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. This one is out now from Synapse Films. Check it out. Check us out over at DEADPIT.com. Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do.
I want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
For this video officially, it's Oak Curlyjaws has a message for you. Go on over to shop.deadpit.com and go look at their Teen Public store right now. You've got some new shirts like the Oak Curlyjaws official t-shirt, which is brutal and badass. You got the Yummy Gummy shirt with the captain himself on the shirt. You got Uncle Bill's face on a fucking shirt. You got the Final Girl shirt. You got all these shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Get them before they're all out, especially the new one, Bedtime 1039. It doesn't get better than that, so go on out. Check out these shirts at shop.deadpit.com. Go look at their Teen Public store. You're going to have a good old time. Get them all!
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Deadpit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.